Hi, my name is Sam Sloan. I've been doing lots of little tutorial videos, and this one I thought I would do on Teams and how we can set up polling and use that functionality within this particular platform. So pretty simple to use, actually, really quite a nice feature. So let's just kind of get into how it is that we do it. There's actually a couple of ways. So when you're the host, you'll get various different options here. Of course, you've got the participants and you've got the sort of chat bubble there. And before participants join the session, I tend to find that this option is still here in chat. If not, we've got a plan B lined up just in case. So you may well have all of these icons listed along the bottom, for instance. And if I click on the little dot here, you can see how it brings up lots of little apps that you can also add into the session. So I'm going to click on Poly. And what Poly will do is it will open up, let me just move that camera, it will open up a little box like this, and I've already, as you can see, created some various different questions. These are the ones that I have saved as a template, for instance. This is one of the reasons I really like Poly. If I wanted to create a brand new one, I just simply click on question, and it just gives me the option of, well, whatever question it is I wanted to ask. Let's just say, is it yes or no? Let's just keep it a really simple, probably silly question anyway. I now have a choice. I can say yes, I can give myself another answer, no. I can require that the learners need to obviously answer that. I can allow multiple votes, etc. And I just can click on there. Audience can add choices. If you want to click on that, you can do. And of course, the audience can also add comments. If you wanted to add another question or another answer to this particular question, of course, this is how you do it. The delivery of Poly, you've got in chat here as well. The results, everybody in real time. Response from the audience, obviously you want it to go public. Well, you may not, but of course these are the choices that you have. Want to send it in just a second. And then of course, the close is just manual. So how I tend to do it, or the other option that we can do, of course, is save it as a template, which if I do that now, you'll see exactly what it is that it does. I'll just call it yes and no, just for arguing's sake, and click on save. That will then be saved when I go back into my Poly in just a little while. If I click on send now, this is exactly what it will do. It'll give me a preview of what it is that I'm going to be sending, and then I simply press send and it will then appear here in chat. So as the host, I get this in the centre of my screen as well, which I can obviously then decide on, you know, is it yes or no. If I just click yes, I can also press submit, and the learners will also see this also. So when I press submit, you'll be able to see the responses come over here in chat, and of course everybody that would be in that meeting will also get a very, very similar view also. Really useful, really handy. Like I've said, there is another app as well that does it, which is called Forms. Very, very similar format. Literally, you input the question in exactly the same way. The only thing here is I can't seem to find how to save it as a template. More than happy for somebody to correct me on that, but I can't seem to find that. So I've got to be honest, I tend to use Polymor. And as you can see here, when we go back in, this is where that yes and no poll that I set up just a second ago. If I choose to select it, I can reopen it, etc., all of that type of thing. Not really played with this massively, but I just think it's a really nice piece of functionality that probably a lot of people don't maybe utilise or use. There is also global templates as well, if you wish to kind of have a look through those. I think some of those can be quite useful as well. You've got a quiz, you've got trivia, you've got Q&A, etc. I've got to be honest, I tend to just use the question, but I think the quiz could be quite useful. But again, I've never actually used that. So if you have, please let me know how you get on. If in the result of, and I'm just going to log out my second machine, and I'm just going to get that individual to just log back in. What tends to happen sometimes is I've just got a ZZ Sam screen coming in here. There you go, you'll see that coming, and I admit an individual to the meeting. What sometimes happens is these options down here disappear. Typically it hasn't now, but sometimes it does. So if I click back into here, you can see this is my ZZ Sam screen. If I click back into chat, it literally flicked, and a lot of the time when it flicks off, this option has gone. If it does that to you, my workaround was this. Just showing just part of the screen because obviously I've got other meetings here that I've kind of been doing previously. But you can also use it on this second screen, if you like, or that second view that Teams actually kind of comes up with. And I find it really quite useful sometimes to even just have this open. So this top one here is of course the chat that we are in now. And all of the different chats that I've had in my previous sessions are all listed down this other side. Obviously I just don't want to share those because there could be some client data on there. If I didn't have Polly in this particular meeting, I can add it from here as well. Because if it has disappeared from here, I can just simply click on the plus and all of the apps are still in here. Just probably still asks me to save and to add it into the meeting, even though you've seen here that I've just physically used it. But you know, it works in exactly the same way. You can still create it from here, etc. You can still send it from here. So if I click on create, and let's just say, I don't know, this weather question, and I select that particular one, you can see the options here that I have. I've already created it. I've already saved it as a template. I'm going to click save, and now when I'm ready, I can press send, and off this will disappear again into the chat window. So if I just minimize that, I can manage it from here if I wish. Also, I get it in the center of my screen too. So again, I've got the, what is it? It's quite sunny here actually today. So I'm going to press submit, and you'll again see in real time how those poll answers pop through from your learners as well. Like I say, that's your kind of plan B for if any of these do disappear whilst you're in session. It does tend to do that with me, I've got to say. Again, give it a go. What do you think you could use polling for? How do you think you could use it within your meetings or maybe within your training events, etc.? What questions could you ask to your learners and how can you create more engagement by using polling? Thank you.